All right, now we should have sound. And I think a lot of you show up just to see how bad I screw up the stream every week. Maybe I should just stop doing these. I don't know. I just cannot. I got nothing. Anyway, what I was saying was I had to get my old computer out, my new one, every time. Just it just kept disconnecting. I don't know why. Because it was working fine on Thursday, right? When we were all here. I mean, not great. I had a little trouble starting on Thursday, but once it got going, it was fine, right? And man, and then yeah, I started the audio today. Apparently the USB channel changed because I swapped computers, so the OBS didn't see it. But at least we got audio and video now, and I'm so glad everybody's still here. You know, these things should not be happening to me. You know, I feel like I'm a technically competent person, you know, with computers. And it just is frustrating when things don't work. So, as always, I'm here to help everyone with their Olympus cameras, answer any questions I can in photography, Olympus Workspace, photo editing, etc. And, you know, just catch up and chit chat about photography in general and see how everybody's doing. I'm so glad a lot of you still here. Yeah, Andy says, right, it was working fine. Music with sound gear. Looks like Marsha was, oh, Marsha's here. Okay, good. You guys are so patient. I mean, I don't know what you were looking at for 45 minutes. Maybe just a screen of my sunflowers, because I wanted to have a nice sunflower background today. But I had to swap computers, and the sunflowers are, you know, when I tried to change the background on this, it just started freezing up, and I had to reboot the computer, even the old one. So I got to figure out what's going on before I start my next stream at 11:30. But I went on a photo walk with Walter, my buddy Walter, yesterday to do some sunflowers. So we, you know, so I got a few more shots, but it was very cloudy outside. I didn't have good light. So I tried using my flash a little bit. And just, I made so many rookie mistakes with that flash, because when I do flash, it's normally for my real estate stuff, right? So I have everything set for that. But when you got to go out in the field on kind of a random setting where you need to know, like, what are your, you know, the lighting's very different outdoors than it is indoors when I'm doing real estate, right? So I kept taking these pictures, and the exposure was exactly the same every time. And I'm like, I don't understand. Let me increase the exposure comp. Let me decrease it. Everything was too bright. And then it hit me. I was like, oh, I'm hitting the frickin' 1/250th the second flash sync speed. So no matter what I set the flash power output, you know, the image is going to be the same exposure because I've hit this sync speed. Because, you know, I was using the Godox TT350, which is, you know, doesn't have a lot of output outdoors, right, if it's bright out. But it's good enough, like, if you just put the flash close by and get a shot. Craig says, Rob, if frozen for you, restart YouTube. Oh, well, I wasn't having the freezing on the YouTube itself. The YouTube was working. It was, well, now it looks like it's not working. Seriously. Can you guys still see me like moving around? It looks frozen on my YouTube. I can refresh the screen. Sometimes that. Okay, I refresh the screen. Now I can see what's going on. But yeah, so, you know, the flash sync speed was stuck at 2/50th of a second, so everything, of course, the exposure is not going to change, right? So I had to crank up the aperture, but then, you know, I didn't have enough output from the Godox to overcome the ambient light. So it was a freaking mess, but I did get a few halfway decent images up on Instagram. So you guys want to check my Instagram, there's my link down there to go check it out. But let's see. Oh, Randy's here, and I thought I saw, I don't know if you're still here, it was David Crooks. He has a local photography club here, local to me, I should say. And they were supposed to go to, I really wanted to go. I changed my sleeping schedule all week because they like to go at like 7 in the morning, which means I have to leave my house around 6 o'clock in the morning, which means get up by 5:30 to get ready to go. So I adjusted my sleeping schedule so I could get up and be fresh. And then it rained, and since it was pouring rain, I said, well, they can't be going. So I don't know, David, if you guys went or not this morning. But, you know, because not everybody has, you know, weather sealed cameras like we do, right, David? the M1s. So hopefully you come back. Hey, Walter, how are you? Hey, don't worry. I just started like 5 minutes ago, Walter, because you know, my other laptop kept freezing up and not showing video, and then I got my old laptop out, and it had a couple of freezing issues when I hooked everything back up to it. Even the mouse didn't work, you know. Nature says, when I go on a nature trek trip, there's always an option to be up and out at 6 a.m. Oh, man, I just can't. I can do it now because I adjusted my sleeping schedule, because I really had to start on Tuesdays because I got that 7 a.m. Tuesday live stream. And then, so I just forced myself to go to bed. So like 9:30, I'm like out, you know, lights out at 9:30. But last night, you know, I was coming back from Walter's place, and there's a freaking accident on 95 South. So I got stuck for like an extra half an hour to get home last night. And he already lives almost an hour away from me, right? So I got home like, I didn't get home till almost 8:30. And then I had to upload and edit my pictures. Man, I hate editing. But all the pictures I did on Instagram, they are mostly edited, you know, because the lighting was just terrible. So I had to edit them to kind of make them at least look, because the lighting was very, very flat, because it was cloudy. So I had to, you know, put contrast back in, do a little sharpening, you know, since I was there anyway, mess with the saturation and colors. But he took a terrific picture of me, a portrait, which you can check out too on his Instagram, and I posted it on mine. I hope you don't mind, Walter. Let's see. Andy says, how can you connect a computer to EM13 to see yourself while recording? Would love to know if I can monitor myself while shooting talking head vids. Yes. There is a downloadable software from Olympus so that you can use your EM1 Mark III as a webcam. Now it's only 720p video, but it's good enough. I used it on one of the streams. Nobody really noticed any difference because I crunch it down a little bit anyway. And then also you can get one of these devices. I have a video about this $20 HDMI device where you can just, and you need an HDMI cable to plug in. So watch the video on this device here. And this will plug into your computer into the USB port. And it doesn't have to be high-speed USB, just any USB 2.0. You plug the HDMI cable on this end, right? And that should work too. And then, so I got two videos, one for this video capture card, and I got another one about how to do streaming. But if you watch both of those, you should have a pretty good idea how to set it up so you can watch yourself. Oh, okay, great, Walter. I appreciate that. I really only like the one picture. The other picture of me, holding up the flash because I was talking about the TT350. Maybe I'll show that one off. And Jan says, oh, hey, Jan. Hey, Rob, how are you? I was going to ask you a question through Instagram, but I saw that you were going to do this live stream. A friend of mine has a little bit of a bad eyesight, and he just bought an EM5 Mark III and wants to know how to review the pictures in the viewfinder because he says he can't only view them on the back of the screen. Oh, the easiest way, honestly, is take the screen and just close it, and then you can review it. That's the easiest way. The other way, I mean, you don't want to do that every time you take a picture, right? And the other way is to go into the menu. This is not the Mark III. Here's my Mark III. He has an EM5 Mark III, so let me put a card in here. I just want to make sure, because I just kind of fiddle with it till it works, because I you know, if I push play, it shows on the back of the screen. Yeah. So what I do, let me turn auto back on. I have it set, the viewfinder set to auto switch off. Let me see if this works. Yeah, all he has to do is when he puts his eye up to the viewfinder is push play, and then it'll show inside. So like I push play now, but then when I put my eye up to the viewfinder, it goes back to live view. So while my eye is up to the viewfinder, if you push play, it'll show inside. That's the other way. And then the other way is to the EVF autos. You can't see anything with this green screen. But there's, in menu I, there's EVF auto switch off, on 1, and on 2. You can just turn the EVF auto switching off and then just manually toggle using the top button back and forth like so. Then actually he still has to do the same thing. He has to put his eye up to the viewfinder and push play. That's all. Okay, Neo, how are you? Says everyone there, I've just ordered the 12mm f2. What do you think of this lens? Better than the 17? It's not better, it's just wider. I mean, both lenses are very good. I'm using it right now actually for this live stream. So it has pretty good close focusing distance, right? See, I can get about, that's about 6 inches away. Let me see if I can get closer. That's about 4 inches. I need light. So right about there. So, you know, I can focus about that close to it. And then, of course, you got the wide angle. I'm not even arm's length away right now from the stream. You know, I'm just about arm's length. So this is the field of view. It's actually wider, but I don't make it that wide because of the stream. But yeah, it's a terrific lens. I use it all the time, especially for streaming. Because I can just sit right up next to the camera. I don't have a lot of space in my office. Even though it is the TARDIS, you know, where we have like bigger on the inside. My house is bigger on the outside. And then Errol says, I'll email you, Rob. I want to know if the grip you bought for the M5 Mark III fits tight all the way to the bottom of the camera. Everyone I spoke to with has daylight showing. Oh, that's a good question. Yeah, there's a little bit of a gap. And that's because they didn't put holes here. Let me take this off and see why. Yeah, you may not be able to see it on the stream, but see that you can see a little bit, right? A little bit of a gap on each corner. And then in the center, even in the center, there's a tiny bit. That's because the base of the M5 is not completely flat, but let me take it off and see. I mean, it's not much of a gap. I didn't even notice it until you mentioned it. Let me see. Oh, I need an Allen wrench. Well, all right. Yes, there's a gap. But it looks like there's tiny little feet on the bottom of the M5 that are being offset a little bit on that side. But it's very tight on the camera. It doesn't move at all or wiggle. I mean, it's solid. So I wouldn't let that deter you from buying it. Because like in the front you can't see the gaps because, well, you can a little bit. Let me see if I can show it. Lens hood off. See? Yeah. You can see it. It'll focus on there. A little bit of a gap. Oh. Always dropping stuff. I shouldn't have a camera without a lens hood on it because I'm gonna scratch the lens. Oh, you rescheduled till 2 o'clock. All right. Oh, you know what? I might be able to go to that then. If it's not raining anymore, David. Oh, thank you, Music with Soundguard. Nice photos on Instagram. Thank you. On the M10 Mark II, assigned a MySet 4 to function button, for example, FN2. Okay. Shouldn't I be able to enable MySet 4 no matter what PSEM mode by pressing FN2 button? Does this only work in MySet 4? I think I answered this question. But yeah, I have the exact order of, the exact order of why that works and doesn't work, I did in a video. Let me see. See if this still works. Kind of. Nope. Why isn't the screen showing? Monitor 2. Nope. Sorry, I swapped computers. Hit screen? No. Alright, so that's not gonna work. MySet. Let me see. It's this video. Episode number 250. Episode number 250, how to program MySet 1, 2, 3, 4. And in that video, I talk about those inconsistencies when you assign a MySet to a function button versus assigning it to, say, the mode dial, which is the better way to do it. I wouldn't assign MySets to a function button. And I talk about it in that video. Just off the top of my head, I can't remember. My mental acuity's kind of been dropping. So I can't remember things as well anymore. But I did make that video that should talk about that. Okay, you're welcome, Jan. And Music Sound Gear asks, what are the extra fast cards for the Olympus EM1 Mark II? Are they UHS-1 XSHC? No, you need to buy the UHS-2 cards. So UHS-2, and the best ones right now, people have said the Sony UHS-2 cards are really good. I wish I could just pull it up. I don't understand. Let me try one more time. Monitor 2. It just will not come up. This is going to be a problem when I do my stream later. Back. Yeah, you want to get a UHS-2. Sony makes like an extra durable UHS-2 card, which is 300 megabits, which people have said have been really good. I bought the SanDisk UHS-2 card. So if you when you look at the pictures of them on wherever you're buying them from, they should have a double row set of pins versus, like, you see the difference? The UHS-1 card, this one has only one row of pins. These are the extra fast cards that you want to get, UHS-2, like this. Okay. And then the XS or XSHC just means extra high capacity. That doesn't matter. Just buy 64 gig or 128 gig. I mean, I recommend getting a 256 gig so that if you want to do some 4K video, you got plenty of room. And they're not that much more. I mean, the UHS-2 cards are expensive, so probably I think a 64 gig is like $90. You know, it's really expensive, but it's worth it if you really need some, you know, high speed. If you really want to make your camera very snappy, particularly with Pro Capture or high speed shutter, it works really well. The M52 Grip has a tiny gap at the bottom. Don't want to tighten it anymore. Right. I don't have a grip for my M52. And I got my 12mm on eBay. Oh, good. Yeah, Randy's always buying stuff on eBay. Good luck with that. No, I buy stuff on eBay time to time. Like I said, as long as you buy from a reputable seller, you'll be okay. Usually the ones that say top rated seller, they have like a little icon in the listing saying top rated or top rated plus. Those guys work extra hard to make sure everything's delivered on time and without any problems, and that the description matches exactly. Because to get that top rated seller designation, you have to meet a certain criteria on eBay after you've been selling for a long time, which includes, you know, on-time delivery, that the description accurately matches, you know, negative feedback is minimal, if any, those kinds of things. So if you can, buy from a top-rated seller. You know, they might charge an extra $5 or $10, you know, or whatever, 5%, but it's worth it for that security of, you know, or that for that integrity of that seller. And Amazon has a twin pack of 128 gig Lexar UHS-2 cards for $75. I would check the speed of those. I've seen UHS-2 cards that are like 150 megabits. I don't think those are worth spending money on. You know, I'd rather just buy a fast UHS-1 card for about half the price. If you're going to get UHS-2, get the fastest one you can. You know, like 300 megabits. And Randy says, correct on doing homework on eBay. Top-rated sellers mostly have free shipping too. Yes. Yeah, normally they have fast and free, so they guarantee to ship the item within 24 hours. So that's what they mean by fast. So, and they have to, right? Because eBay tracks the shipping process as well. They usually have to buy the shipping through eBay, through the post office. And, you know, they have this relationship, I guess, with the post office. So everything is tracked to keep, you know, also by eBay to make sure that the seller is shipping within that 24-hour window. Okay, yeah, V60 you can get in UHS-1-2 cards, Marco. So I wouldn't put a lot of, I mean, if you need to do video, I think the Lexar cards will be fine, right? If you get a V60 rating, that's pretty solid for video. But for photography, I'd recommend get the fastest one you can. But that, yeah, I didn't think about the video side of it. But for video, you know, if you want to buy a V60 card, you have to get UHS-2. So don't spend more than you have to. If all you care about is video, you can get a V60 UHS-2 card for less money because they're not quite as fast as the UHS-2 cards that are like, say, V90 or 300 megabits. So that's, you know, that would be one reason to get the Lexars. And Randy says, did make one bad decision once. Bought a vintage Russian lens from Ukraine, never came. But eBay gave you your money back. Yeah, I never buy crap from outside the US. I might buy something from Japan. Because they have the best, they have the shiniest gear, right? The cleanest, at least. I've never bought anything from Japan, but when I look at their listings are pretty impressive, right? They have really clear pictures and all the gear looks really well, like really in good shape. When they say it's like mint condition, they mean it, you know? As opposed to, like, if I list something on eBay and I say mint condition, you know, who knows what that means, right? It's very subjective. There's no standard when they rate things on eBay. Like, you see this mint plus plus plus, that's all BS, right? Look at the pictures very carefully and you decide for yourself if that's really mint plus plus. And then check the integrity of the seller, do a little due diligence. If they're not top rated, look at their ratings very carefully. Because they can't control that. That's all through eBay. And eBay does their best to mitigate any kind of false ratings and things. But if they've been doing it a long time, you know, been a seller for 2-3 years, and they have some history of high ratings, the only reason they might not be a top rated seller is because they can't ship within that 24-hour window for whatever reason. So a lot of times you can have a credible seller, but because they couldn't meet one particular criteria, they don't get that status, right? And that's usually the overseas sellers. They don't have the same sort of system integration like we do here in the US. And Randy says, yes, I'm US only. Good morning, Commodore. Commodore. I don't even know how to say your name. Commodore Photography. Always good to see, though. I know you come into my streams time to time. Wow, it's a stream people have picked up. I'm glad you guys are all here after that really terrible, terrible start. I'm gonna have to go back and like delete the first 45 minutes of this stream after it's done. Randy says the reason I select US only is mostly for shipping times. Be careful of pictures. They could be manufacturer sales pics used on eBay, then get you the piece. Yeah, you have to make sure you're not looking at stock images of the item on eBay. You can usually tell the difference, though. I mean, after you start looking at a lot of listings, you should get a feel for what's a legit image and what's a stock image. And they should tell you in the description that it's a stock image, or that a lot of times if they're selling more than one item, like if they have, say, this camera, but they have 10 of them in stock, they may only show the best one, right? Image of the best one, and they might give you one that's not quite as good, but it should be representative of what you're getting in terms of condition. But if it's too far off, you know, you can tell eBay that the item was not representative of, you know, in the image as the one I got, and send it back and get your money back. But usually you can work with the seller. You might be able to email them. I mean, always email the seller before you contact eBay to try to resolve the issue. And they might give you a discount. They might, you know, do something else to try to, you know, make you whole again, so to speak. But yeah, you know, shopping on eBay, it's just a little different experience. You have to take buyer beware to a next level, right? And it says, Robin, if you would rather, and you said it spot on. Oh, okay. Good. And I think, you know, Commodore, I don't know who it is, but someone keeps calling me Robin. I don't know if it's you, but one of my viewers always calls me Robin. I think it's either in the comments section or, and I don't bother correcting them, you know, because I get what they're trying to say. You know, it's like I'm not like a grammar Nazi or anything, and I don't care what people call me, but uh, yeah, I get the confusion though, because there's Robin Wong, then there's Rob, right? Rob Trek. I can see where maybe, you know, you watch both of us and it's easy, you know, like when parents yell at their kids and they say both kids' names, even though they're only yelling at one of them. They go, Robert, Julie, you know, Robert. And I remember as a little kid always getting upset. I'm not Julie. I'm not. And Julie would say, I'm not Rob. Oh, okay. Yeah. Sorry, Errol. I'm so sorry. My stream got really screwed up today. I actually got on about 45 minutes early today because Walter's wife was like giving me a hard time about just turning the camera on and starting the stream, and then, you know, having these technical difficulties. But none of them have been this bad before. So I said, okay, I'm gonna get on early and make sure everything works. So for like about 40 minutes before I started the stream, I was fussing with this computer to get it to stream properly, and it didn't work. I don't know what I'm gonna do in 15 minutes when I have to start my next stream because I can't get the thing to start. Uh, and Beryl says I was here at the starting time but fell asleep waiting. Oh God, I'm sorry. Uh, John McCormick says, in Workspace, how do you view the JPEG image shot with 2x digital teleconverter that's baked into the original RAW? Do I have to use USB RAW data edit when I import the images? You can do it that way, but usually in Workspace, as you probably already know, you'll see the outline of the 2x digital teleconverter. It should be already cropped to the right size for you, but then when you look at the raw image, you'll see an outline. So the best thing to do is just while you're in Workspace on the raw image is just export it, and it should export it properly with the digital teleconverter settings, I believe. Yeah, that's a good question though. When I used to do it, because I always shoot JPEG plus RAW, so I would always get the upscale JPEG version together with the raw image, and the raw image would show the yellow outline. But I've never thought about if I only shoot. Wait a minute. Do I have to? You shouldn't have to do anything when you're importing them, because when you shoot digital teleconverter, it automatically creates the JPEG actually. So it's always JPEG plus RAW when you use the digital teleconverter. Let me see the question. Image shot with 2x that's baked into the original raw image. No, you shouldn't have to do anything. The only thing on the raw image will be an outline of the crop. But I think you should be able to clear that in Workspace. But I've never done it. But there should be a way to clear that setting. But you'll still see the full raw image. I'll have to try that in one of my live stream edits and see exactly the workflow for that. But you shouldn't have to do anything else after you. I mean, you shouldn't have to do anything in camera before you import it. Let's see. Robin. Oh, Robin Wong is here. How are you? People confused because we both look. Yeah, we do look the same, right? How you doing, Robin? Good to see you. Always good to see Robin Wong here. He's he's you know, him and Peter and Jimmy. Their channels are so much better than mine in terms of, you know, Olympus content. That's why I'm back to just streaming now, so I can just jibber jabber and do the best I can to answer questions. They're getting harder though. You guys are asking like the most minute things about Olympus sometimes that I might only do once in my entire photo career, and then somebody asked me about it and I can't remember. Oh, consignment auctions, that's interesting. Yes. Yeah, yeah. You got, like I said, shopping on eBay is to get the best deal is a very is a takes a little bit of skill and practice, right? And there's lots of YouTubes on video or videos on YouTube about how to shop on eBay that you can watch. That'll tell you all these kinds of tips and tricks like Music Sound Gear is talking about. Yes, Robin is here. Um, just a slight difference. Robin is a little more handsome. And I was always mixing up my kids' names. Yeah, my goodness. As long as I don't mix them up in my will, like yeah, don't mix them up in your will. Uh well, okay. I'd love to bring you in, Robin, but my whole stream setup is screwed today. I would just have you call into my chat and just start talking to everybody. I wish I could do that. I lost everything is screwed up today with my stream. And then David Nelson says, you mentioned buying things off eBay from Japan. I bought two EM1 Mark II cameras from Map Camera and I'm massively impressed with them. And the cameras look new and had around 13,000. Yeah, that's good to know. I mean, like I said, when I see the listings from Japan, they look amazing and legitimate. I've just never done it because of that time frame, right? You know, it takes longer to get here. And I'm sure Dave Nelson, I'm sure they were packed really well too, right? If they're coming from that far away. Unless you live in Japan, I don't know. If you live in Japan and buy in Japan, I don't know, but if you live here in the US and things are being shipped here, I'm curious to how well they're packed. And photography by Sturka says, hey Rob, I know many are awaiting the 150 to 400 Pro lens, but considering the expected massive price, wouldn't a good alternative to be an older Pro lens with a teleconverter? Yeah, no question, right? If you don't need the convenience of the inbuilt teleconverter, right? Because that's a massive convenience for people that need that kind of focal length all the time, and zoom range. I think, you know, there's other ways to get there, right? You buy a 300 f4 Pro with a 2x teleconverter, and so you're what, at 600 times 2, 1200. Am I doing that right? So you can get up to 1200 millimeters with a 300 Pro, and you'd be at f8 versus on the 100 to 4. Robin just did a video on that. I haven't seen it yet. But the new 100 to 400 lens from Olympus, if you put a digital teleconverter on it, you can get up to a 1600 millimeter focal range. And David Crook says, okay, check the weather about the rain today. That doesn't seem to want to go away about the Burke Lake. Hope to see you. Yeah, maybe. Because I got to start. Let's see, that usually ends. If I end the other one by 11:30, I might be able to make it there by 2. There's so many parking lots over there, though. I don't know which one you're going to park at. There's about 4 of them. And then now, because it's the weekend, I have to pay $10 to get in. So I'm not even going to come into the parking lot because I ain't paying $10. Walter will know. $10 is $10. Because I have out-of-state tags, right? Because it's not like 7 in the morning. There's nobody in the booth, so you can just drive right in. But at 2 o'clock, you know, I might have to pay $10. I may not come anyway because of that. But we'll see. And Robin says, that is not true. We are not better. We complement each other. I like to see you deep dive into oh, okay. I got a heck of a video coming up, man. It's taken me hours and hours and hours to make, but I got a video coming out that hopefully is a little better. I don't know. I spent all this money on a new computer, and I got a drawing tablet and some other stuff, and I'm trying to make a new video using all this new fancy tech. We'll see. But thank you, Robin. And he says, a lot of people find your tutorials very helpful and you have that soothing voice. But you know, the difference, Robin, is you are the happiest photographer on earth. You're always smiling in your videos, you know, and I think that's really what makes your channel such a joy to watch, or, you know, easy to watch, is because of that. Like, if I can get your smile and put my voice together, you would have the perfect YouTuber, right? Better not bust my tripod mount. I assume you're talking about the 150 to 400. That's funny. Yeah, so people are asking me to do the yeah, I took the 75 out. If you look at my latest Flickr images, they're all, you know, a lot of them I did with the 75. I'll take the 70 out. Well, it's not a good idea today. Because I think the theme today is we're supposed to shoot mushrooms. And the 75 millimeter, the close focusing distance is like, you know, 10 feet or something. Like, you can't get very close with a 75 millimeter to shoot mushrooms. I might put an extension tube on it. That might make it a pseudo macro and a really interesting. We'll see. I'm a little flustered today because my stream started 45 minutes late. And then James says, love your work, Rob. New to Olympus system. It's helping tremendously. Oh, good. Thank you, James. I'm glad to help. You know, I make my videos, I make the assumption that you know, that you're a complete beginner to photography, right? And don't know anything about cameras, particularly maybe the Olympus cameras. Because a lot of people are coming over from Nikon and stuff, and so I make no assumptions about what you know or don't know about photography, and just try to explain everything. And you know, every now and then, even an experienced Olympus shooter will find one little nugget in my videos and say, oh, that's one thing I didn't know, right? So, but generally I focus on beginners, because I'm still a beginner myself, right? Photography is a journey, right? You never really know it all. And Marco says, I just watched the sensor size comparison posted on Slanted Lens. Seems to me sensor size is pointless comparison. Without pixel size and density of the sensor be better comparison. If they were, I haven't seen that video, but if they were only testing for like noise or dynamic range or color depth, you know, whatever they're testing for in terms of like more intangible IQ things, right? Or tangible IQ type factors other than the megapixels. Yeah, it's pretty pointless in my opinion. Because really the better you are, the better your photography skill set, the better photography you are, the less the gear matters. And that's why I never really worry about what can, you know, the only thing that really matters is you got to have a good lens. And fortunately, most of the lenses from Olympus are really good. And then you can pretty much overcome any other technical challenge with a particular scene once you have a really good skill set. Of course, there's times when you do need to, you know, maybe a full frame sensor with a high pixel, low pixel density, right? Like it has really big pixels on it, deeper pixels, so to speak. You can recover more shadows and things like that. I mean, there's reasons people buy full frame medium format. It's, you know, otherwise everybody would be shooting with their cell phones, right? There's reasons for different sensor sizes, but you really have to know, you really have to build your photography skill set first, and then you'll know whether or not these other formats make sense to you, right? It's just it's a shame that so much marketing and effort and all these YouTube channels get into sensor size and how much better full frame is over, say, other crop sensor cameras, when that's not the most important thing when you buy a camera. You know, the most important thing is behind the camera, right? You have to build your skill set to take advantage of any features that any camera may offer you. So you could get a full frame camera, and yeah, you might be able to pull a few things initially when you're starting out, but the real thing about photography is building up your skill set so that you can use any camera, and you can learning to overcome any photographic challenge, because there's so many photographers, you know, like you know, Jimmy and Robin and Peter and myself, we all use our Micro Four Thirds cameras professionally, right, for paid work. And then there's like Joe Edelman, who, you know, is very high-end portrait photographer that switched to Micro Four Thirds because his skill set is very, very high. And, you know, overcoming any challenges he might have with Micro Four Thirds is irrelevant because his skill set overcomes that easily. So usually the sensor size should never be the problem when you're doing photography. That should be, you know, really towards the bottom of the list. It's really the lens that you use. You know, if you have a bad lens, yeah, it's gonna be hard to overcome, you know, some photographic challenges. Or if your lens is too slow, right? You have a kit lens and you need to go shoot in a cave. Yeah, you're gonna have some problems. I don't care what size sensor your camera has, but anyway, yeah. So I think it's good it's good to see videos like that to kind of get a understanding of the differences in sensors. But don't put too much weight on those differences on sensor size, because it's not as much as you would think, or is that they imply. Because I've you know, I used to shoot with a Nikon D750, which is 24 megapixel full frame, huge sensor pixels, right? Pixels on the sensor relative to my 20 megapixel Olympuses. And believe it or not, at the same exposure, the Olympuses have better highlight recovery than the Nikon. Now Nikon crushes it in shadow recovery, no question. Like, I'd say by 2 stops. And as you get up into the higher ISO ranges, that gap gets even wider. But again, you're talking about pushing cameras to their limits and using them in a way that is, from a photography standpoint, is a bad way to take a photograph. You know, don't push a camera to its limits. Try to use the camera within the limits that it has, and you'll always get good images. You have a good photography skill set. So anyhow, that was a long sort of rant on sensor size. Sorry about that. I need to start my next stream, but let me finish the questions here. And wow, you got your eBay cameras in 4 days, packed better than I ever could. Okay, thanks, Dave. That's good to know. And then Marcia says, when I was watching Exploring Mirrorless, Robin, Wong, Peter, and Maddie, finally said to myself, let's do this. Oh, okay. Casa says, robtrek, is there a way to maintain same focus while switching from autofocus to manual? It shouldn't change if you switch in the control panel. If you focus something in autofocus then switch to manual, it shouldn't change focus. So there's, yeah. And then Marco says, when assessing camera performance, I'm not sure. I missed the first part of that question. I just watched sensor size, wooden pixel size. Oh, okay, yeah. All right, so I answered that. But yeah, the actual size of each individual pixel does affect the performance of the sensor. So you want to know how much each pixel can gather light. But there's so much sensor tech in addition than just the size of the pixels themselves, right? That need to be considered. But all things being equal, bigger pixels will give you better performance. All right, I have to go to my next stream, everyone. I'm so sorry. And I saw a super chat. I didn't see who did that because it went by so fast, but thank you very much. I appreciate that. So you guys, I need to start my next live stream. Hopefully it'll go without a hitch. But I thank everyone for your patience and sticking it out with me today. It was great to see you today, Robin, in my streams. You're always welcome to join in. I know my viewers really love having you here, and hopefully by next week I'll get all of this technical issues out of the way, so that you can just join in right live and be with everyone. So I'm sorry I didn't get to everyone's questions today, but you guys have a great rest of your weekend, and we'll see you again. I'll be back on Tuesday morning, my time at 7 a.m.